Hi everyone. I guess you can see my screen now. Um, I guess you can see my screen now. Please, if you can hear me, can you comment in the chat box that you can hear me? So I'll be able to know that we're all together. We have and I'll also be taking your questions. So please, if you have any questions, if you can hear me, please let me know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, good evening, everyone. I guess you can hear me now. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, someone, thank you. So, but today we'll be talking about flex, which we call flex blocks. Before we noticed that we have been seeing, especially those of you that have worked on Navbar, we have been having different display. For example, before we have span display is inline. Okay, thank you everyone. Our span the display is inline, so it is normally inline. Our image, our display is inline. Why for H1, H2, and H3, their display is always block. That's why we call them block elements and inline elements. Maybe I should use okay, replit. Let me also use replit. So I'll also be using replit. Okay, your line is breaking. Oh, sorry, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to leave this place. Okay, but can you confirm if you can hear me better? I want to. Okay, Victoria, please, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I just want to be sure. Thank you. So, as we discussed, we have our H1, H2 to H6, our P tag. They are all block level elements. They always take the full width of their container. Okay. Width. Okay. They occupy the whole width of their container. So I'll be giving you an example now. I think I should just comment out some things. My index dots, I think I don't really need this, or I can easily write it again. I find it's affecting my screen. Okay, now I've deleted this. Let me see what we have. This is only what I have. I think I should only have the background color. The reason why I'm having this background image, sorry, not color, is because I inputted it through my CSS. That's why you are seeing it here. Okay, thank you. It's better now. So now we always have our display to always be, we only have inline, we have inline display, inline block, and other things like that. The difference, who can tell me the difference between a display of inline block and inline and block? What's the difference between display block, display inline block, and display block? I'll be expecting a response in the comments section. What is the difference between the three, the inline block and block? What are the differences? So as we're saying, so I'll be expecting the response. So now most of the element takes the full width of their container. For example, now if I put P here, if I put elements, let me say hello. I'm here. Now let me just give this P a background color of, let me give it a style and a background color of, let's say a background of red. Let's see how it looks like. When I run this now, you notice that whatever the width I have, whatever the width I'm using, it takes the full. Now, if I have another P now, if I copy this now, if I copy this now and I paste it here again, I'm having another P. Let's just give this a background of blue. We're having this background of blue. If I run this now, we're having it stacking on top of each other because they are block level elements. So yeah, and what difference is that, for example, now a span is an inline element. If you want to give it a padding top, margin top, you have to make it to be an inline block. Else, any margin you give an inline element, it will not appear. Any margin, or sorry, any inline padding or any inline margin you give an inline element will not work because they are just inline. Or any block, sorry. For example, now let's give span is an inline element now. If I give it hello now and I run this now, okay, so now if I give it a, let's say a style, let's give it a padding of 100 pixels. If I run this now, let's see what we have. Now it's only taking the inline padding. It's not taking. You can see now both the block padding is not taking it. Which is what I'm saying. This span only takes the inline. It takes the inline dimension. It's taking this inline of, but because it's not a block level, it's not going to take the top and bottom. So to make this one to take top and bottom, you have to do something like it should be display inline block. We call it inline block. Let's see what happens when I run inline block. Let's see what happens. You can see now it's now taking padding block. What I mean by padding block is this. In our padding, we have up and down, right and left. The right and left are the inline padding. We call it padding inline. While the top and bottom, we call it padding block. So if an element is an inline element, is an inline element, yes, it doesn't take a padding and a margin of block level padding and margin. It won't take it. If you give it a padding that is block or a margin that is block, it will not appear unless you change the display. So now I change the display here to be inline block. That's why it's having this padding top and padding bottom. If I delete this now, it will not work. It will only have inline padding. It will not take the top and bottom padding. So I think I've explained that enough. I hope that is clear what we mean by inline padding. Oh, thank you. So I hope now you understand what we mean by inline and block. So an element that is block a level element like this P element, it will take both inline and block level. But if an element is an inline, it will not take. So that's why if you are styling your image, and if you notice what do I call it? The CSS reset I sent to you that you should be using. Your image, your SVG, they give it a display of block. The reason why they give it display of block is that so that when you add your margin or you add your padding, it will work. If you don't add it, you start having some kind of inline, some kind of block level issue. So and it will overlap each other sometimes. So if you're having issue with that, just take note that that's the issue you were having. Michael, if you have any issue, you can always message on. You have your We have a Slack channel that you can use message or tag necessary person you want to speak to on. Oh, I'm so sorry about my network. I'll soon be leaving. Maybe I would have to try somewhere else. Ogwegu Chimereme. Sorry if I misspell it, if I call your name wrongly. What's the issue you're having now? So that's what we now. Now, what we now, if you look at it here, we are having these two P, and they are both block level elements. And what do I want? I want to put them side by side. How do I do that? That comes to the layout, and that comes to what we mean by flex and flexbox. So that will take us to W3 school documentation on flex. Okay, let me just say W3 school on flex. So that's how we need to put these two P elements. We need to put it together. So how do we do it? So that's what will take us to flex box. You can see now module. Therefore, layouts. We have inline. Those I've explained. We can also use table and can also use position. I think maybe the last time we have been taught position, but I think that should not be an issue. Oh, so as we are saying, I think now we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are all aligned on a single row. So now that brings us to what we mean by display of flex. Now we have two things in flex box. We have a flex container and a flex item. We have a flex container and the flex item. Now, if the container, just like we said, is where the element you want to let them align, or when you want to give a direction to be, they are the flex children. Where you put them, they are what we call flex container. For example, here now in this for this my code here on line 20 to 26, my body is the container. It's the one that contains these two elements. One, two. My body is the what? Is the container. So for example, if I close this now, you can see now I don't have anything here. So that shows that my body is the container. So now, for example, now I want to just and come here to get my div. I want to create another div to put as a container. Let me now put, I don't know if this will work because this image, let me show container if this will work. But in our VS Code, it will definitely work. It will create an ID of container. It doesn't work. So I will have to use, that's one of the advantages of using one of the advantages of using VS Code. So now we're having this div. So if I copy this now, I will cut this now and paste it here. So this div automatically is now automatically my flex container. So if I put this here, a class or a ID of, let's say I'm giving the class of flex container. Flex container. So this my div here is the flex container. It's one containing these two elements. So now if I copy this now and this is a class attribute of class of this, and I go to my style, I think my style.css, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if I go to my style.css now, I would like to comment out all these we have here. Well, I can still leave my anyhow you call it, but I'll call it my handsome image. And I do my flex container like this. Now, this is my flex container. Now I want to put these two, hello I'm here and hello I'm here. These two, I want to put it side by side. I want to make sure that I want to put it side by side. If I now do display of flex, let's see what we have. It's still running. Yeah, I think it's still running. I believe, okay, it's still running, yeah. So we are giving it a display of flex. Let's see what we have. My network will be able. Okay, now you see now, they are now side by side. They are now side by side. What happened? So this one now, it has what? It has made them to be, this display of slide have made them to be side by side. Then how does it happen? Now flex will take the exact width. There's something we call flex basis is 0. Now flex basis here is 0. It takes their width, the exact width there. If I put L1 here, if I increase it, it should take the exact width. Just give the first element or the first flex item, give it his 100% of his width. It will give it 100% of his width. Then the other element or other elements to give them 100% of their width, and it will put them on a row. So now that's the first thing. So display of flex, put two elements side by side on a row. Now there's something we call something our main axis and our cross axis. We call something main axis and cross axis. But I will explain that when we talk about flex direction. Now this one is a flex, display of flex. Now what now happens? The default for direction is display should be what? Should be row. So if I say flex direction here, our flex direction here is row. That means that this is the default direction. This is the what? Default direction. It's always on the row. That means it will be on the main, it will align on the main axis. Now we'll explain main axis in a bit. Now main axis is a row like this. There is that horizontal, while your vertical is what? Is our cross axis. This is very, very important when you're learning Flexbox, because I made some mistake. I made some mistake when I was also learning it. Because you have to know what we mean by cross axis and our main axis. So now our vertical is cross axis, while our main is what? Is our horizontal axis. So now someone asks about padding inline and padding block. Okay, what I will do here is I think I will need to open let me just open this beautiful app. Okay, I want to give you one with my padding inline. Now here, if I inspect these elements, I want to inspect this quick and easily place your business invoice. If I inspect this now and let me scroll up. Now, don't forget we have the box. We have our box model, and in our box model and content. So now this is what we buy. Anything inline is this side. This your horizontal x-axis is what we buy inline. I think that's the best example I can give. Anything inline is what we buy your horizontal axis. Just like in your graph, this elementary mathematics, your x-axis, both negative and positive, they are the inline. While your y-axis, both positive and negative, they are what? They are the block. So I hope that is clear about the explanation of inline and block. So when you give padding inline, it means that what? Left and right. When you give a padding of block, it means top and bottom. Same thing when you give a margin top, a margin block, it will apply to up and top and bottom. And if you give a margin inline, it will apply to left and right. So it is more better instead of you writing, for example, now I want to give a padding now. Instead of me, suppose I want to give a top and bottom, then I come and say padding, and I say padding here. Let's say 10 is 10 pixels. Then that is 10, that is up. Your right is 20 pixels. And let's say this one is 10 pixels, that is down, and the other one is 10 pixels. Now, for example, if only I want to give top and bottom, I just need to come here. This is just this thing is the same thing as writing padding inline. Our padding inline should be 20 pixels, and our padding block should be 10 pixels. So this line of code, the line 15 and line 16 and 17, they are the same thing when you are writing the same code. So don't forget, when you are writing inline, our inline is left and right, or your x-axis, while our block is top and bottom. I hope that is clear, and I hope that there's no question apart from where we are together. So, Ogwegu, I hope I'll be able to explain what we mean by padding inline and padding block. So now we are saying our display should be flex. Now, I was saying about flex direction. We know what we mean by direction. Which direction do you want to take? Is it horizontal? We have two types of direction, unless we are talking about 3D. But we are talking about 2D. We have two directions. We have either horizontal or vertical. So now, which direction do you want your display? Which direction do you want your display to be? Is it inline? Or is it what we call, is it inline or block? Or is it X and Y axis? So, but there are two directions in flex. We have a row or a column. For example, now the default one here is a row. The default one here is a row. That's what it's the default setting. But now you can see the pattern has worked. If I clear this, it's still the same thing. Yeah, thank you. Okay, that's fine. Good to hear that you are clear about that. So now I said the default is row. The other option we have is column. Let's start with other option. We have column. Our flex direction here is column. If I refresh this here now, they will stack on top of each other, just like before. They will stack on top of each other, just like before. We also have, let's see other option. We have, I think, is it row reverse? Is it row reverse? I don't memorize it, and I don't expect you to know. Okay, row reverse. I think so. So our row reverse here. Now before, it is being it's starting from here. So the reverse is from here. So it's going to start from here. So we also have column reverse. I think if there's row reverse, there should also be column. But what you actually be using most is either what you'll be using mostly will be either row or column. So now if I do column reverse now, so that will also be, I think I'm having network issue. So that's also going to be, the blue is coming before the red now. If I use just column, the red will come first. The red will come first if I use column alone. So so that's the direction. So now that takes us to, because I also one thing we are going to be using this to solve our Crapo project. Now we have, let me go back to my HTML now. Let's have a file. Let's have a nav now. I'll be deleting this now, and let me now make my own nav bar. You can judge my nav bar. It is allowed. My header, you can judge it. I want you to judge how I'm doing my header. It's allowed. Suppose I'm having let me say my H6 here, and I said Remlad. Now I'm having my navigation here, and I'm having UL. I'm having a UL here. Also, I'm having like LI here, and also having an A element here. Let me put href here. It's not linking to anywhere. This will make it to be a link, but it's not going to link to anywhere. I can put let's say home, about, and contacts. Now this is my now I want to create my nav using or flex. So this is my nav now. Yes, anything. No, displaying now is not the same thing. No, that means issue. That one is different thing. What I'm saying that when you are giving something an inline property like padding inline and padding inline or margin inline, they are on horizontal axis. They are not the same thing. Okay, thank you, Yetunde. So now you can see now this is how my own nav bar is. But as we said, I want both my my A6, that's my remlat and my home import to be on the same line. So now that will take me to, I want to write my style here inside the head. So I'm writing an inline styling, just like you know. So now, because I'm having an header, I can come here now and say header. Now, if I give my header a display of flex, that's what we'll have. This one will be side by side. I think there's a video on this. Actually, there's a video on this, and which I expect you to have checked. If you look at it now, then this my remlat is no longer my nav list. They are no longer under remlat. Now, I'll use that to explain something. When you give something display flex, there's something we call justify content and align content. Now, I'm going to use main axis and cross axis to explain this. Justify content and align items. I hope you grab it once, because it's a very, very important aspect in flex in Flexbox. It's a very important aspect. Now, there's something we call main axis and cross axis. Please, you pardon me, I need to search. I don't have any here, so that I can use that to explain what we mean by main axis and cross axis, because it's very, very important for you to understand what we mean by for you to be able to know how to use the direction. Okay, let me just search for image of flex direction. Flex direction. Yeah, let me just search that. It's very, very important for you to understand, for you to be able to know what justify content and what align item means. Okay. Now I think this is a good one to start with. Now you can all see. Okay, I'm seeing this. Okay, now, let's be using this. There's something we call main axis and cross axis. Main axis and cross axis. Now, this our main axis looks like what? Looks like horizontal, while our cross axis look like vertical. Now, take that for now. Now, when I say justify content work along the main axis. Now, the reason why I'm saying along the main axis is this. Our main axis, our direction may change, but our main axis too usually change. Now, we said we said the default flex direction is flex. We said the default flex direction is flex, is row, sorry. Now, that row is our main axis. That row will be our main axis. That means the horizontal will be our main axis. If I give this word a column, now our main axis has now changed to that vertical. I hope I'm not I've not convinced someone. Now, if our direction here, if now we say this our main axis here is horizontal now, that only works if it is row. If our flex direction is row. Once our flex direction change to this, it's now become our main axis will now turn to this vertical. Now, the illustration is this. Now, I'm giving it our flex direction here should be row. Now, justify axis justify content work along the main axis. Now, when I use justify content, you have these things available in the video, which is thoroughly explained. When I give justify, it works along the main axis. But because our main axis here for flex direction, our main axis here is row. So definitely it will work on the row. It will work on X axis. If our main axis here, if I change it here to column, then this one will work along the vertical axis. Now let me give it here. Now we are giving it row. Let's start with row. I've not checked the question. If you ask any question, I will still check. But let me go through this explanation. Now we said our flex direction here is row. So now I'm saying justify content. Now we have different value. The default value for justify content is flex start. What I mean by flex start? What I mean by justify content? That means where do you want your items, the flex item? Where do you want them to be? Now, if you look at this one now, they are at the beginning. despite the fact that, let me give this header the background. Let me give the background of this header. Let me give, so that this will be clear. Let me give it to be red. Yeah, if you look at it, you can see how the width of my header is very big. But this my flex now bring every one of them to the beginning. So that's what by what? That's what happens when we use the default value for justified content is flex start. That means it will move all our flex item to the start. And here we have my H6 here is one flex item, and my nav here too is another flex item. So my H6 is a flex item, and my nav is also a flex item. So it's moved them to the beginning of the horizontal axis. Now we now have two things. If I put flex end here, let's see what happens. No, it has to be flex end. If I put flex end here, let's see what happens when I run it. Now you can see now it has moved every one of them to the end of their container. If I expand this here, it will keep moving them to the end, keep moving them to the end. So it has moved them to the what? To the end of their container. We also have, apart from this, we also have justified content. We have center. We want them to move center here. It will move them to center. You can see all of them here are in the center. We also have, there's another value called space between. It will give item. Now, this is what happened. This is what happened. It will calculate, Flex also do some kind of JavaScript. It will calculate the width of the container. It calculates what Flex space between. It calculates the width of the container. If let's say it is 700 pixels, then each item, what is their width? Maybe one is 30, one is 50, that is 80. 700 minus 80, that is 620. Then it will now put a space of 620 between them. After all margins and all padding has been removed, you can try and understand this on your own. So after it, so now I'll be checking the question so I'll be able to know. I hope everyone can hear me. Which one is this? I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, I'm going to answer your question. View width means one viewport width. This now, this year now we are having 100 we know we have VH. When we now say 100 VH, I think go back to your question. Okay, thank you, Gift Emmanuel. Thank you for answering that question. Our view width is the width of your screen. While our view height, that's VH, is the view is the height of your screen. Justified content is for the main axis, while align item is for the cross axis, but it also changed. Now, I'm giving my background of red. So now, if I give it a justified content of space between, it will take and give them space. So each one of them will be starting at the beginning, one will be starting at the end. That's what space between. After all margin and padding has been removed. Now, this is what I have here now. Okay, now there's another option called space around. If I come here now and give this space around, it will give a little space around them. That means there will be space around the two of them. Space around. Now, if I run this now, there will be space here at the head here, and there will also be space here at the head here. You can see now there's a space here and space here. But the space at this place, they are not up to the center one. There's something we also call space evenly. That means it will give space around it and between it evenly. It will divide the space evenly, a bit accordingly. Evenly, space even. Did I get it? Space. Help me now. Okay, yeah. Space evenly. It both at the beginning, at the center, and at the end. The space will be what? They will be the same. If I run this now. Now you can see now the space here, the space here, and the space here, and the space here, they are the same. If you put your tape rule and measure it, it will still be the same. So now we have this space between. So for now, space even, but what I want to use for this my project is, let me say, I want to use for my header, I want to use space between. That's what I want to use, space between. So if I run it now, it's looking like a normal nav value. It's now looking a bit like the normal nav value you are seeing. So this is it now. I want to give it a padding. I don't want everything. Like now it's touching the edge of this, it's touching the edge of this. So I want to give now that's what, now for example, I want to give it a padding inline. If I give it a padding inline, it only applies to the X and Y axis. Let me give it a 10 pixels here. And I write this. If I run this now, it will give it a padding. My padding will be side now. If you look at it, there is a small padding here. I can increase this. Let me give it to 40 so that we can all see. There's a padding at the edge here, and there's a padding at another edge here. What's the difference between someone asked, what's the difference between justify content and align item? Justify content works along the main axis. Justify content works along the main axis, while align items work along the cross axis. I'll show you the image of cross axis and main axis before. So now, the reason why I'm not telling you that when I was learning flexible, the mistake I made was that I believe that generally justify content is along the x-axis, and it's wrong. Align item can also be along x-axis, so don't make that mistake. That's why I'm not telling you that it's along x-axis. It's along the main axis. Justify content works along the main axis, while align items works along the cross axis. So I hope that is clear. Now my stuff is looking somehow. If you look at it here now let's look at my nav. My nav is also a block level element, while my UL also is also a block level element. But my LI, they are all inline. So now I want this UL also, I want this thing to be also horizontal. So now I can come back to I can select my nav and my UL using a child selector or descendant selector. If I say nav, this is a descendant selector of UL. I want it to have a display of flex also. I want to have a display of flex. Now, if I run this now, let's go. You can see now both my all my inline about blah blah blah. Sorry, my home about, they are now on the same axis. So now I want to give my I hope that is clear. Let me, before I go to that place now, I want to give my UL. Let's flex our muscle. Now I want to say UL and any direct child of UL, or you can use something, anything that is inside UL. Let's see if it works. I want to do the text decoration. Text decoration should be none. This might not work because it's LI, not A. So let me just go to list style. I want to remove those dots. My list style should be none. So if I run this now, it also work. I can also select my LI. It also work. Or I can say UL plus P if you want to flex muscle. Okay, no, it can't be UL plus P. So it also works. No, so all the styles here have to remove. So now I can also come to my A. I just want to remove the text decoration. I want to remove text decoration from my A. Text decoration should be none. I don't want any color. I don't want any underline. I don't want it there. Yes, I think I've explained. Please, sir, please just explain what padding line. I just explained. It means giving it left and right. Horizontal value is what we mean by inline. While block is vertical value. That is top and bottom. So now, if you look at it now, my nav is looking good, but this doesn't look like normal one you are having. If you look at this one now, this one is not at the center. This one at the top, and this one look at the center. Now that takes us that since I've been able to align it horizontally, how do I align it vertically? That's where another property in CSS, and another property in Flex also come. There's something called align item. Align item works on our cross axis. Align item works on our cross axis. Now, for example, now if I give it, but for align item to work, you have to, right now, for example, now for something to be aligned at the middle, at the center, let me say at the center, it must have an height that's going to consider. It has to, like, you have to give a computer that, okay, this is the height I want you to consider. Then put it at the center of them. So it has to have an height. So now if I say height here, let's say my height here is a 80 pixels. If you have watched Brad, most of its header is always 80 pixels. So now, I'm also following it. So I'm giving it an height of 80 pixels. Now let's see what we have. So now I'm having an height of this 8 pixels. Now if you look at it, this one is at the top, this one too is at the top. Now why are they there? So if you can understand, I said there's something called align item. The default for align item to align items, we call it align items. The default value is flex start. The default value here is what? Is flex start. So now if I run this now, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Now nothing will happen. But if I give it a flex end, let's see what happens. If I give it align item should be I don't really flex end. Maybe for next class we'll be using VS Code, because one reason is that it will make our work to be fast, and I don't need to start stressing myself on writing the code. Let me give you the stress. So now if you look at it now, it has align at the end. That's meant by flex end. That means by end. I think let's try. I think end also work. If you don't use, let's try. I think it works. I want to be sure, because most times I usually write in React and it works. Okay, it works. So it also works. Align, if you use flex start or flex end, it also works. So this one too also work. If you put start here, it also works. Yes. So, and there is also win by center. But what I want to do for this is what? Is center. Now I'm now putting it center. If you look at it now, our code looks better, and what you are expecting, this is exactly what you are expecting. For the benefit, there are a lot of things I can do now. Since my LI, I'm giving the list type of I can give it a padding inline. I can give something, call it a padding. I can also give it a padding inline, so it will give space between them. My padding inline of 20 pixels here. If I'm giving it a padding here of 20 pixels here, you can see there are spaces between them, but this is too much. So I'll give it 5. I'll give it 5. You can see now we are having this. This is looking nice, and it's looking like the normal. You can see now, because I'm giving it just 500 to be space between to keep pushing them. After subtracting the padding here, after subtracting it will keep pushing them to the end. No, I'm not saying that align item doesn't work vertically. It works along the cross axis. That I'm not saying, that's what I'm trying to avoid telling you. Well, it's not a must you use LI. If you can use anything, but that's what I can say, that's what I've seen most developers using, because that's what I've seen most developers using. But I've seen someone using I've seen someone using LI. Yeah. You can use anyone, but I think that's the most conventional way. Let me put it like that. But you can, even if you use p-tag, it is okay. It's okay. If you use p-tag, it's also okay. In as much it works. There's one philosophy in So now, you can see now I'm having space between and everything is looking nice. Fine. So now I said align items work along the cross axis. I didn't say vertical. I don't want to say vertical so that I won't convince you. I will give another example of how align items works. When we are talking about the direction. So now you can see now at least I want you to rate my nav bar now. Rate me 1 out of I say 1. Rate me over 10. How does my nav bar looks? Now there's another property. So I'll be waiting for your rating before I rate you when I give you a task also. So rate me now. Let's see what you did with me. Now there's another property. We have we say flex direction is row. Now if you can we can also give now. I don't know if this is best example, so that's why I don't want to give it here. There's another property called flex wrap. There's another property called flex wrap. I think the default is wrap. I can just check that. I think the default is wrap. So sorry, it's been flex wrap. When you start using framework, I usually use material UI. So if you are familiar with that, you know that there are a lot of things that you don't need to write. I think the default is row. So flex wrap is wrap or not. Okay, the default is wrap. The default is wrap. So the default rate is wrap. So once it's reached a certain stage. Okay, let me run this first. Now, if you look at it, I think the default is no wrap. So now, the difference between no wrap and wrap is this. Once it's reached a certain extent, for example, now, if you look at it here, let me put no wrap. Let me use no wrap to start. No wrap. I think it has an hyphen. It's difficult writing without VS Code. No, it doesn't have. Yes, I remember. It doesn't have. This no wrap doesn't have. So now the default is no wrap. Now, if it doesn't have like this, it will not. Once it's reached its maximum height, like now, instead of this thing to, like now, you are not seeing this. It's overflowing. It's overflowing. Like instead of it to, what you expect is that since there's no space again, why don't you come under? So that's where we might flex wrap. So now if I put wrap here, once it's reached the place that it can't, it's overflowing the container, it will wrap. It will move. It will change to column. It will move it on the column. That's what we mean by wrap. So now, if I run this now, you can see now when the space is not okay now, it has wrap. It's now under. I'll be checking your question now. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for the rating. Okay, thank you. And once in a while, okay, yeah, thank you for the rating. I'm happy. Those of you that give me 10 over 10, I will give you to 10 over 10 too. So, tilt for that. I hope that is nice. And those of you that you didn't rate me, I will not give you anything. So, because there's a saying that silence is unjust. Your silence too is you are supporting my oppressor. You are supporting those people that want to give me 0. So, if you are not rating me, I'll assume that you don't want to, you are giving me 0. So I will meet where we are supposed to meet. So as we are saying, we have flex wrap. So that one will change that. Once it reaches a page that it reaches the container, it will wrap and to work. So this one now, for example, now, if I'm writing, there's something called responsive design. If I'm writing this code now, I don't need to touch it. So now this makes sense. The only thing that I can put this to be at the center. I can put this at the center and it's working. So at the container, it will not overflow the container unless the container becomes smaller. Like now, it becomes smaller that and the flex boss calculations, it said it's getting mad. It doesn't know what to do again. That is when you start seeing it. It will not shrink again. Okay, Tolu, I don't mark your face. Tolu is 0 over 10. I've marked your face. So Thank you. So now that's that. Let's continue with. I just hope our other mentor will give me time to explain more. So now we are having a flex container here, which is wrap. So now we also have no wrap. No wrap. We have wrap reverse. You can also try this. You can also try this. I believe that we have a video on it, but just because we are not having much question here. So now there's another property called flex flow. Let's be taking it like that. There's another property called flex flow. Flex flow is a property that is a shorthand for flex direction and flex wrap. We call it flex direction and flex wrap. So for example, now if I come here now because I want, if my flex direction here is row and my flex wrap here is this, I can just come here and say flex flow should be wrap, and how does it flow? Should be wrap on flex direction should be wrap. Okay, it should be row, and the direction come first, and then the wrap or no wrap. So where's my this? So now we have row and wrap. So I don't need to write this. I don't need to write this. This one suffices. This one suffices. Lovett, thank you. Yeah, thank you. That 10 over 10 will go a long way. Did I make any mistake? What's that play? Okay, I didn't put, if you look at it, because I didn't put this semicolon in line 20, so my code breaks. So make sure you're not making that same mistake. If you didn't, CSS will not shout at you if you are making mistake. But what the desired result that you want it to be, it will not give you that result. So now we're having this, and this is okay. So now let's move to other property. I think we have now I'm saying that justify. I'll be using this W3 screw. They are quite to do what we mean by what when I said justify content and align item. They are not for horizontal and they are not just for horizontal and vertical axis. This where I want to use this thing to make an explanation. Now, I said, if you look at it here, if you look at this code here, they said display flex. So now what they mean here is what? Since they are not giving flex direction, what they mean here is what? Our flex direction here is what? Is row. This is default. So that's why you are seeing it like this. So this is how you are seeing it. I also give it an height. I want to give this my container. Let me give it an height so that it will be easier. Let me give an height of, let's say 300. I will run it. If I run this now, so we are having it. Now, you are seeing that this thing now, they are now bigger. In the align item, the default, okay, align item, the default is stretch. It's what? It will stretch. It will stretch to cover all the container. Because now they didn't give it any value here. Maybe I made a mistake when I said let's start. The difference is the default is stretch because they didn't give any content here. If I say align items here should be stats, for example. Now you can see now all of them move to the stats. They move to the stats. I can also say center. They all move to the center. If I've mentioned start before, it was wrong. I can also say end. Align items should be end like this. So this is how it works. Now I want to explain why I say that main axis and cross axis where they are, for example. Now I'll be deleting my justify content and my align item now. Let me run it. Let's see what we have. Now because our direction here is what? Is row. Now let me change to the column. Now we have this. Now, as I said earlier, this now our main axis because I'm putting my flex direction to the column now. Our main axis now is now this vertical. It's no longer horizontal again because I've put the flex direction to be a column. Our main axis is no longer our horizontal again, it's now vertical. So now if I want to put this, if I want to put this thing to the center, if I want to move this 1, 2, 3 to the center, justify content center will not work again. Let's see if it works. Justify content should be center. Let's see, maybe I'm lying and it's possible. You can see now it's not moving here because justify content works along how do I call it? It works along the main axis, and our main axis here is this vertical. Let me give this one of an height of, let's say, 800. You can see now they are now moving at the center of this page. So now justify content is now moving, is no longer moving on the row again. It's moving in this. Like now, if I just justify content, let me give it stats. I always advise you should be using IE all this auto flex and shows. Try to be using flex start. Now it's now moving to the. If I change this one now to the row now, see there will be a change. You can see now they are now moving in different places. It's now moving on horizontal. So your justify content and your align items they are not stationary. They are not vertical and row. They move along the main axis and cross axis. So now justify content, if it is if I want to use if I'm giving it a column here, I'm giving it a column here. So now justify content now it will be because it is justify content move along the main axis. So it's now this our main axis now is our vertical. So to now move. So now if I want to put this thing to the center now, I have to use something we call align item to the center. Align items here should be at the center. Now align items now is now at the center. You can see now they are now at the center here. Let me just remove the height is too much. Maybe I can just reduce this to be 400. Let me run it. I want it to be, it's still taking my whole screen. Let me, okay, you might not be able to see my screen. Let me plus it. Now let me just give my width should be 100. Let me just give it 80. Okay, it's still taking up my, let me say 300. Okay, now this is what all I'm having. I can give this one, instead of width should be this, I can give it to be 40. Let's see, it's getting small. Okay, this is still fine. Abdullah, my namesake, I'm just using it so I don't need to be moving all around. You can do it anywhere, but the best is for you to do it inside external file sheets. We'll talk that when we reach the media query. I hope you are getting it. So now, if you let me, I want everyone to, I want people to comment in the chat box now. Do you know what we mean by align item and align justifying content? They are not based on direction. They are not based on, let me say, x-axis and y-axis. They are based on our main axis. They are based on our axis, either main axis on or cross axis. And our main and cross axis, they depends on our row. If our direction is row, our main axis is horizontal. If our direction is column, our main axis is vertical. I hope this is clear. Can someone tell me in the comments in the chat box that this is clear before I move forward to another thing? because I don't want to be, I know you didn't say mistake. So I just want this. I just want people to comment if you understand what we mean by when we say justify content, align item, what it means. When you want to start, you can use any attribute. You can use elements attributes as what do you call it? Yes, element selector attributes. You can select by the element, or you can also select by ID attributes or class attributes, and you can also use what other selector? You can use the descendant, any other you can use just for you to be able to select it. Okay, thank you, Tolu. Now, thank you for helping me to respond to that. We are going to be talking about the CSS media query very soon, so don't be in a hurry. We are going to be there for you. So now I hope this is clear. So if I do justify content here, should be because my dictionary is in column. So if I want to put it at the center here, my flex direction here is column. Let me run this. It's still working. So if I want to move it to the center, I have to put this justify content here to the center. So that's when it's going to move to the center. So I don't want you to believe that justify content is on the x-axis and align item is on the y-axis. I made that mistake for so long, and that will make it will frustrate you. You start typing, when you type justify content center and it doesn't work, you type align item center. Then it's not, oh, thank God that's work. But the best is for you to know why this thing works. If you know why something works, you can do a lot of things. Okay, thank you. I say it again. I said justify content works along the main axis, while align items works along the cross axis. And how do you know your main axis and cross axis? On your main axis, when you give your flex direction to the rule, your main axis is your horizontal. When your flex direction is column, your main axis is vertical. I hope that being said, now these are all the properties we are having for a flex container. These are all the properties we are having for a flex container. We also have another property for item. I think I've touched everything. Let me I can scroll through this. We have align item, we have flex starts. I think I've talked about most of these things. So look at this. This example use different font size to item game to align. We also have align content also. So now our align content default is stretch. You can read about that. I think there's a video for it. So now there's a question now. Most or usually see it occurs on usually see it on Twitter and other places that if you want to annoy a backend dev, tell the backend dev to center a div. If you tell the backend dev to center a div, that would be an issue. So now what I'm saying in essence is this: if you want to center a div, now with this one now, you know it is easier to center a div. You just only need to have the container and you have the item. For example, now this item here is being centered. And how do they center it? If I go to, like we have done here, but this one, they are not both at the center. I can go here now. If I only have one, let's assume I'm having only one now. If I run this now, you can see now it's at the center because my flex item, my justify content is center, and my align item is at the center. I hope that is clear, and I hope I'm communicating. So these are very important things you'll be using. So if you are using the Crapo project now, even if you are a beginner, by now I expect you to be able to start the Crapo project, because now that is the crypto project. By now we have talked about variable. You can be able to, you should be able to use variable in your work. Now we are having flex. Now there's something we call utility class, which I also want to introduce to you. Now, for example, now if you look at it now, there's something we call in JavaScript or in programming, we call something, do not repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. What you have written before, don't write it again. And programmer are a set of lazy people. As a programmer, you need to be lazy. You need to be lazy, to be honest. And being lazy is that you need to be able to automate something. Instead of you like doing something repeatedly, you should find a way that you'll be able to automate it. That, or if you have done it once, you don't need to repeat yourself or do it again. So that's how programmer works. You don't need to repeat yourself. Now, if you look for now, I've repeated myself here. I've written display of flex here. And I've also repeated the display of flex here. Now, that comes to what we call utility class. By utility class. For example, now instead of me writing display of flex, I can come here and say, let me give my external file sheet of this style.css now. Now, I want to clean what I have here now. So if I clean it, will it affect our code? Let me see if it affects our codes. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't affect it. Now, instead of me writing for front end, it is fast inside, just written. Dorcas, thank you. Me, unless you tell me my class is not interesting, so I can round up. Me and the other mentor, Mentor Victoria or Miss Victoria, we are having 5 to 7. That is 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. So if that's the case, it's my organ and I can use her time. So unless you tell me that my class is not interesting, so because I know she's better, so she should come and take over from me, and then I will round up, then she can take over. But if that's not the case, I will continue and be using her time. So let me know which one is if I'm really communicating, or if my class is interesting. If my class is not interesting, let me know. I will thank you for staying at least to this present moment. Then Victoria will take over and start taking the class. Ogunare, okay, your face has been marked. My class is not interesting. Thank you. Okay, if you see your work, Ogunare, if you see your work and you see somebody saying that your task or your assignment is not interesting, that's from me. Oh. So now somebody asks about justified content. Justified content, as mean you justify the content. What do you mean by the content? Is our flex item. How do you want it to justify? That means how do you want to give it space? Just how do you want to space them? 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 The justified content. How do you want to space it? Now, I now say that justified content. I can't categorically tell you that. I believe everyone was that here. I can't categorically tell you that justified content works only on x-axis. I will never tell you that, and I will never tell you that, and I will never tell you that justified content works. Thank you, Tunde. Tunde Yusuf. Yeah, thank you so much. I can never tell you that justified content only works on horizontal direction. I will never tell you that, because it was a mistake I made for so long, and if I ever know CSS, there was a time I was really, really frustrated. I could remember I have to stop learning JavaScript, and I have to concentrate on CSS again, because I was really frustrated. And if you are in my shoe, if you are in my shoe or in my previous shoe, then that means if you are writing a CSS, suppose now you want to center an item, you now have to write 4 properties. You have to do like this. You have to first write justify content like this. And if justify content didn't work, write align items. Oh, if align item works, thank God, my code has worked. Then you continue. Then when you reach another place, you have another issue. You try all the 10 property, you try it. And when the ninth one works, you say, oh, thank God. Please try and learn the basics again. That you know that you need to go back and learn the basics. And one thing about coding is this: you forget it is normal, it is human for you to forget things. If you are when we start learning React now as a beginner, it is possible for you to forget what we mean by justified content. But if you keep trying all the properties, it will take you a longer period of time. Try and relearn it. So I had to go back and relearn it again. So justified content works along the main axis, while align item works along the cross axis. So your direction, either row or column, determine which axis we have. Our main axis is, if you give it a row, that means that will be horizontal, and if you give it a column, it will be vertical. I hope that will justify it. It's still frustrating though. I haven't finished my assignment because of it. I love it. You guys don't mark immediately. Okay, you can see now. You are now seeing the benefit of not marking immediately. So now if your portfolio is not good with Flex, please go and make the changes, and let's know, and let's and do it and do the necessary things. Okay, can I please open my, okay, I'm opening now. I'm just seeing your message, sorry. This is my output. Let's see what I have. You can see now, are you disappointed with what I see? You can see my navbar still remain the same. My navbar still remain the same. Don't mind my image copying because it's at the top. That's why it's like that. So, but my navbar still remain the same. I hope that is clear. Yes, to be honest, that's a good cheat though. If you have not been graded and you have done something that you don't like in the time past, quickly run and go and do it now before you are graded. It's only when you are graded that you don't have that opportunity. It's not a secret. We know, so we know because we only, the point is that we want everyone to pass. The score is we are saying the cutoff for project is 80. I want to be happy when they tell us that out of this cohort is the best, like 90% or 100% of our students graduated to the project phase. It's something that I also be proud of. It's something I will always be proud of when they say 100% of our students graduated to the project phase. I also be proud of it. I can write it in my CV that when I taught them Flexbox and JavaScript, 100% of them understood it, and they all proceeded to project phase. Now, the reason why you can say it's not different. When we say there's something we call 100%. Now, this thing will move and according. This thing will move. Okay, this will move according to the screen size. If I minimize my screen size now, it will keep the width. It will keep moving according to the width. You can see it will keep moving according to the width until this is where my width stop. This is where it stop. Now, if I open my what do you call this? If I open my mobile view, for example, now let me open my mobile view. This is how it will be on your phone. You can see now this is how it will be on your phone. This is how it will also be on your phone also. So it depends on the width. It works compared to the width. Unless you restrict your width. And as a good developer, you don't give, it is not good for you to give a width of, you don't give a width. Don't set a width of, let me say 30 pixels. Don't give it like that. Unless only on rare cases. Just give it a mean width. The minimum width should be 30 pixels. And if you don't want that to go beyond something, and give it a maximum width. That is good. If you give it a minimum width of 30 pixels, when it reaches 30 pixels, it will stop growing. But it can always grow to the size of its container. But when it reaches that 30 pixels, it will stop. It will not grow. It will not shrink again. So I hope that is clear. Because I want to use you shine. Oh, what would I gain if I don't use you to shine? and I want us to be able to meet. I want us to be able to meet after the project, to be able to collaborate. Me too, I'm also a student of knowledge. You can always collaborate on the project. If you have a project that you think we can work on, you can always message me. If you need something I need to explain to you, even after the project or after this Zoom, you can always message me. We can always be friends. We can always do a project together. And I'm also open to learning because I also want to learn. I believe either by teaching you, I will learn or learn something from you. So either ways, I'm not going to lose by having you as a friend. So CSS is wide. We have grid, yes, it's very wide. Yes. So that's why you just need to know the concept and don't feel bad if you don't know anything. Forget anything or you can't do it. Don't feel bad. Bad. Even if you are, my name is Isiaka Abdullahi or Remlad. That's my name. So you don't if you are doing something and you don't know it, don't be afraid. When we reach JavaScript class, you see me googling something. If I've forgotten, I'll Google it in your presence. The reason I'm googling is that I won't cram it before I come to class, so I know that everyone made a mistake. If I make a mistake, I also make jest of me. It is fine. But I know that if you're also teaching too, you also make a mistake. So it's not necessary you cram everything. Just know what you are doing and know the concepts. So now I want to talk about utility class. I want to talk about utility class. As I've explained earlier, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'll talk about utility class now that you should not repeat yourself. You can reach me on my send me my phone number is on Slack. My phone number is on Slack, but I don't want let's keep the communication official on for now on Slack, and I'm also on the LinkedIn. On my profile, you see my LinkedIn account. You can always add me, send a friend request, and let's chat. Anything you want us to collaborate on, I'm always open, and I believe I'm going to learn also from you. So if you have submitted a live server, you have made our grading easier. Because once I see the live server 127.00, I'll just give it 0.5 and I will leave it. Thank you for submitting. Yes, if you want to make your header to be fixed. For example, now here in my header here, my index.html, if my header here and I said it is fixed. There's a position the position here is if I give it fixed, I think the default is what do you call it? What is the default for position? Static. Yes, thank you. The default position is static. Everything is static. That means they will obey the document flow. So now, once you are given a position of fixed, you have to give it a width also. You have to give it a width so that it will cover it. You have to give it, I'm now giving my width here now 100%. So if I run it now, everything will be fine as normal. Everything will be fine as normal. Yeah, everything should be fine as normal. My network is everything should be fine. I'm expecting my network to be. My network supposed to be. And another thing is I'm expecting my network. Okay, thank you for the rating. I really appreciate it. So I'm expecting my network. Yeah. Okay, if I comment this out now, I see that everything is okay. Everything is okay back. Yeah, so once I give my this, everything will obey as expected. So if I come here now, you can see everything obey. Now this my header now, it is fixed to the top. So I think we have talked about the position. We have absolute, fixed, and this the default is static. I hope that is clear. Khadija, you are stressing me. You can also do that on your own end too. Okay, maybe that's why. Just use the container housing or your div to do. So the container, now today we have explained that the container is what we call the flex container, and it has a property of flex, we have flex direction, flex row, and then flex flow. All these are the property for flex container. So I think that's all. I was talking before I branched to different things. I was talking about don't repeat yourself. I think I will do that before we move to another thing. So now I don't want us to repeat ourselves as regards this. Now, because I want you to use this, I want us to use this when we are writing our code, when we are writing the CRAPO code. Now, I don't want you to repeat yourself. You can go here and write a utility class called flex. Then I say flex like this. Then you now say this one is display of flex. But I'm doing this because I want everyone to be able to tell me that they have done that CRAPO project. So that will be your first project you are going to be putting inside your portfolio. And I will be happy that at least I have a little bit impact in it. So now my display here is flex now. So now any place I now come here and I now use a class name of flex, it's supposed to work okay. Now if I go to my index.html here, here, now this my header, this is where my header is. I can just come here and give it a class name of flex. My class here is flex. So I can, anywhere I'm writing flex here now, because this place I've written flex, I can delete it. Now, and if I run it, it should run. If my CSS is properly linked, it should run. So you can see now, it still remains the same thing. Now, so any place, now this URL now I can delete this. I don't need flex again. I can go there now. I can give this URL a class attribute of flex. Now, yes, this one is okay. Now, so now if I run it, it is still running. Yes, thank you. You can also, there's another one called sticky. Yeah, thank you. There's another position called sticky. Thank you. So now everything is running now. Now I can go back here again. Instead of writing align item everywhere, maybe we are having it in different places. I can come here and say align items. Let me give it a class of align, because I want my align. When I say align center, it should mean that align center should mean, sorry, this is not JavaScript. You write something like this. Align item should be so now align item here should be align center. Now I can just come here and write align items should be center. So now any place I'm using align center, it means it should what? It should be align center. So if I go to my code here now, instead of this one now, I want it to be after flex, I want it to be align center. So this one too, after flex, I want it to be align center. So now any place I'm having align center, I can remove it in my, what happened? Where's the remaining part of my code? Okay, any place I'm having align center here, what's happening? Okay, this is my index.html now. What's happening? Okay, now, yeah. So any place I'm having align item, I can remove it. You can see that my code is making sense a bit now. Now I can remove this. So now I can come here again. You can now write as many as possible. You can now write everything here. You know there are many. You can copy this now. If I say align item, let me say align starts. This CSS will mean that align starts here should be align starts. Align item here should be starts. And you can also copy here end. Align items should be end. So this is how you write the utility class. align item here. This is how I want you to write your code. To give it to your class, because that's how, because I want us to be able to touch yes, multiple can, it can have billions of style. It's sorry, Solomon. An element can have billions of content. How do I call it? Style attribute. Like now, you can only have a one class attribute, but you can give any class several classes in it. You can have thousands of classes, millions of classes. So you can add as many as possible classes. So you can now see now I'm writing this align item here. This one will be start instead of center. This one will be start, and this one here should be end. So this is how you want it. So anytime you need it, you just copy the. So this for align item. So this for align. Sorry. This for align. This for align item. Align items. Now that's also take us to justify content. So the same thing you have written here, I can copy this thing here, copy here, paste here, and I justify content. So now instead of writing justify, I can say justify center. I can come and say justify center. So it means I justify content, justify item. What am I saying? Justify content should be center. So near justify content here. Our justify start, instead of justify start, it will now be this will be justify content here. And why justify end here? This our justify end here will now be justify content here. Why is this one shouting? Okay, it's telling me that it doesn't. Okay, is it typo? Yeah, okay, it's just only mentioning typo, which is wrong. So justify content here should be end. So now, if I now want to go to my index.html now, instead of writing, now we have align item, align center. Now we can also have justify center. So now I can come here now and delete any place I've written justify. Okay, we have justify. The justify we have here, justify content here should be space between. We can also come and declare we can also come and declare it like this. You can also come here and say justify between. Say justify between should be justify content. You just create the one that you need to use so that you won't have a lot of you. Justify content here should be space between. And you can also come here and do justify around, justify evenly. Justify around, I'll be using VS Code next time, please. Justify around should be, justify content should be space around. So, but what I need here is just justify between. So I'll just copy this justify between class here. I'll just copy it here and I go to my index.html. I'll go to my index.html here. I want it to be justified between. So I'll delete this now and I'll put justify between. So here now, when I'm writing justify between, I'll write here. Even this your position, this your fixed here. You can come here and put fixed. Give it a class of fixed and come here now and come here and say fixed. This is how Tailwind works. This is how Tailwind works. If I now come here now at the top here, I can say dot fixed. So it now means position should be fixed. So this is how I want you to be writing your CSS. Vicky, please. Well, the reason why you need to, whenever you are writing physics classes, that's just the future. And that's what you'll be seeing. That's what you'll be seeing mostly in your, mostly if you are using framework. If you are using framework, if you are working in React, staying with CSS, they are using utility class approach. So that's what you are going to be, that's what you are going to be seeing. You are going to be writing all the things and you're going to give it the class. Thank you, Dorcas. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid repetition. I'm trying to avoid repetition of what I've written before. Instead of writing display flex in 500 places, I can just write one and I can just start giving them a class name of flex and it will work. Thank you so much. If you have this, that's why I'm using this approach, that if you can understand this utility class, you can be able to use Bootstrap CSS. You can start using Bootstrap CSS in your project, because in your project, to be honest, it will not be easier for you to be using vanilla CSS. It will not be easier for you. So you will need to use something like Bootstrap or Tailwind. So if you know this, it will be easier for you to be able to use. Thank you. Everyone, thank you for that clarification. You will need it, and I will appreciate that you will be able to know it instead of you writing it one by one. So now I'm cleaning a lot of things now. You can also do something like, for example, now this our width of 100. This how it works. You can say, instead of writing the width of 100, you can say here and come here and say W100, W100. Now, if you go to your style here now, and you come here and say .W100, it means our width is 100%. This will work. It will still the same thing. So now I'm cleaning up the code I have in my index header. I'm cleaning up the code now. You can see now it's getting smaller. It's getting smaller. I don't need position of fixed again. I've already written it in my CSS. So everything is going to be working better. So you can do .throw.trap. So these are just these are how I want you to be able to write that Krakow project. It will be easier like this. Someone be seeing it and be able to understand. So you can come here now, instead of writing where I write A should be test decoration none. You can come here and give it a class here. You can come here and give it a class of test. You can give it a class of test none. Test none. And what does that text none mean? If I copy this here now, I can copy this and paste it here also, and paste it here also. Next time, please, I'll be using my VS Code. So now you can just come to your test none and go and write your test none and give it this class of you can come here now and give it you can write text none and just write this here. Everything will work perfectly. You can see now this is just the feature of writing your code. Even if you are using framework, if you are using material UI, you are going to be writing inline styling like this. And you know one advantage. There's if you remember, we talked about there's a video on CSS specificity. Sorry, I'm calling it like that so that I'm calling it spaghetti so I won't make mistake. So this is which one is more specific, which CSS rule, which rule should CSS apply to your elements? That's by CSS specificity. So yes, I'll be using. You can use both together. You can use utility and variable together. Now, for example, now you can use the two together. It is easier. You can use the two together. For example, this is how you can use the two together. For example, now I want to declare this is my root. I hope you all know this as this is my root, the basics, that is CSS variable. I want to declare a global variable here. So I want to declare a global variable here. Let me say I want my color I want, let me say BG red. I want my color to be red. I can come here and say var, sorry, let me say dash dash red. Let me say BG red. Yeah, should be, let me just say my color here is red is F. Let me say F00. This is red. I hope you also know this X color. There's a video on it. Please try and read it. If there's anything you don't understand, you can always reach out. Now I've declared this variable of BG red now. So now, suppose instead of putting this red, I can come here and say dot BG red. My background should be red. I can say background color. My background, I want to write, my background color should be variable var dash dash red. Now this one will work. So you can, so this, I'm using both of them together. I can also say text red. I'll come here and say text red. Instead of writing BG color, I can come here and say text red. So instead of putting background color, I can just say color should be var red. So this will work. If I now come to my index.html here, if I come to this now, where I'm writing a bit of VS, is it network? Why is it breaking my code? Okay, so now where I'm having background of red, I can delete it now. I don't need it again. Then I can come here now. I can come here and say BG red. This will also work. This will also work as expected. I'm using HTML semantical. If it's sorry, okay. So now what happened? The code didn't run. Waiting happened. Now let's see where our code breaks. I'm using BG red here. Let me see what I use here. Let me see my styles. Let me see what I use there. Okay, dot BG red. Let me copy it. Unless this thing doesn't support variables. But let me see. That should not be supposed to support variable. So now let me go to my, well, I can say that maybe Replit did not support CSS variable. We can also, let's just be on the saver side. Let me check my code very well. Var red, this is correct. You should also check. I'm thinking what I've written is right. Background color is red, BG red. Yes, supposed correct. Now let me ask, let me check. This is my var. Our BG is red. BG is correct. Now let me search on online. Does Replit support CSS variable? Does Replit, I don't know, but let's just support CSS variable. Let's see if it supports, because it's not giving me red, which is supposed to be. But what I've seen, I asked GSS code in line. It doesn't. Let me see if someone has it, but I'm not seeing it supporting it. But let's see if maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm not too sure if it's supporting. If it supports my index.html. Now let's go to my site.cl. Let me see how they use their own. It works. It's supporting it. So why is it not working for my end? Yeah, it's working, and I did the same thing. Yeah, I did the same thing. var. Yeah, I did the same thing. So why is it not working? Let me cross check again. So why is it okay? I can't put semicolon. That should be strange. I can't put semicolon. BG red. Yeah, it's supposed to work. Now let me run it again. Let's see. Honestly, I'll be expecting your comments. Why is it not working? This is supposed to work normally because var. Sorry. I'm supposed to put BG red. I've not checked your comment, but this is what I'm supposed to put. That's what is causing the issue. So now if I run this now, it's supposed to work. Sorry, it's supposed to work. I didn't see what I declared at the top. So you can see now we can use both CSS variable and we can use both CSS variable and we can use both CSS variable and CSS variable and CSS utility class together. Now I'm trying to check your. So Isiaka, the challenge will be remembering to type in the class. No, you're not writing that. Don't put that. It will not work. It will not work. This is not. It will not work. Today that will not work unless this can only work instead of putting style. Instead of using class, you are going to use style. And if you are using style, that equal to will not be there to be double column. I hope that is clear. Okay, thank you so much for liking it. It will not work. That's just it. Okay, thank you. Yes. I've seen it. Okay, I've seen it. Debugging is yes. Yeah, to be honest, debugging in CSS is only frustrating. The only way you debug is that if your code works, if you have written if it works or if it don't work, there is no other debugging that you are going to be using with CSS. So, and that makes it very, very frustrating. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. You can spend a lot of hours, a lot of it. Who else has encountered this challenge that you didn't link your CSS? You didn't link your CSS to your HTML. That was why you are having issue. You keep writing height of 100%, everything will not work. Background of plate, anything, and you keep checking for so long. So it do work. Please, when do we use style and class? I don't understand. You can use everything together. I can also put style here. So it depends on it. But what I'm saying is this, because you'll be using most of the work going forward, you will not be writing vanilla CSS. To be honest, it is a pain in the neck. Do you think people that are working in Google or people that are working in Facebook, they have to write 1,000 lines of CSS code? No, they use framework. So what is better? The best thing is for you to start using utility class, and you can start for now. In as much you declare your own code, not that I'm not saying you should use Bootstrap. Write your own code and use it as a utility class. That would be fine. Vivian, I hope I answer your question. I'll be going through the question again and see if I still have another one. My code are not working. Please run it. If it's not running, push it. Push it, let it run. Why would it run? You have to push it to. I hope today now we talk about I think we can round up, 6:48 already. We can round up around 6:50. So let me see if Victoria will have used that time. It's an apology on my side, but I find it interesting that we'll discuss about this. So, and I hope you too find it interesting. So, please, what is vanilla CSS? Vanilla CSS is writing your normal CSS, the way you are actually writing. Then you are going to take now display of less direction row. Then you go to UL direction UL list line none. Then you go to A text decoration A. That's just vanilla CSS. The normal CSS that usually write is called vanilla. Vanilla means something that is original. This JavaScript that I'm going to be teaching is called vanilla JavaScript because that's just the, how do I call it? That's the beginning of it. The beginning of it where I'm going to be. Paul, I've not seen your question. Can you type it again? Please, what do I do to make my picture and background color to show on Replit? You just need to do it very well. That's only what I want to see. Try and read about it. You can also watch additional YouTube video about it. Read, search for, if you go to background color in background, search for background in CSS, read W3 school documentation on it, you get it. I'm having a background color here, which everyone says is handsome and fine. Anybody that says it's not fine, I will definitely penalize the person. So now we have this and it's okay. We have this and it's okay. Now this is my background color now. So I believe that is, and where is my code? If you check my code here, this is how I put my background color. I'm putting my background color here. So you can see here, you can see I'm putting my background color here. This is how I put my background color. I give a background. There's what we call background. There's also a shorthand for it. The background color, the background image. There's also a shorthand for it. So let me see if I can. If I inspect this, I can also inspect Replit also. I can also inspect it. Though I don't think Replit has come, so I don't know. I can check here. If I maximize this to be bigger, now you can inspect what you have written here. If I inspect this now, I can come here now and come and do something like this. This is my body, yeah. This is my header. This is the header. You can see now if I, and it is easier. I will advise you when you are writing CSS, please try and use. I'm not using my, what do you call it? I'm not using Firefox now. But let me tell you the secret. If I want to write it and I need to stress, I don't need to stress myself. Or I know that this now I'm writing, I may have an issue. I do like to use Firefox because it helps you to visualize what you are doing. So now you can see now this is a display of flex. Let me remove this thread now and let me put in, let me say F2. You can see that it's easier to change if you are using CSS. Like now I don't need to, you can see that's only what I need to do. I don't need to start changing all the code to make a change. Why? My code is not running again. What happened? So that's just it. Okay, yeah. We never reach next week now. Means if I don't know GitHub until we reach next week, that's when I will know GitHub. So just chill, we are together. So let's reach, when we reach the C, we'll definitely know how to cross it. When we reach the C, when we reach GitHub, we know how to use GitHub. It's like I have a GitHub account, but I don't know how to use it for now. So when we reach next week, I'll definitely know how to use it. And I'm going to explain to you. Okay, how the inspection work? Let me don't use this one. But for example, now, if I'm using this, see now, just press right click on your browser. Right click on your browser. There's inspect here. Click on this inspect. Then it will show it. You can put it anywhere. If you click on these three dots, you can put it side by side. You can put it side by side because this my own now is put side by side. You can put it under. You can put it by your left. You can put it by your left, and you can create another tab for it. You can create another tab for it. Like now, it's now opening another tab for my VS Code, for my styling. And so if I do, it's the same thing. I hope that is clear. Dorcas, you have to upload. Yes, you have to upload it. Yes, thank you. You have to upload the picture, or you give the URL, like the link of the. You have to give the link of the. You have to give the link of the image you want to use. That's the two ways you can do it. You know, sorry, Vivian. Sorry. I'm saying sorry on Replit behalf. You can write your code in on VS Code and copy it. Just make sure that your index folder is you don't change your index folder on Replit to avoid wahala. Stella, I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Okay, thank you. Good to know that it's clear. So at this junction, we should be rounding up the class. Thank you all for coming to join me. I think I don't have a class tomorrow, it's next tomorrow. So I look forward to meeting everyone in our next class, and I hope it's interesting. I know this one is kind of boring, but this is interesting. This is a bit interesting. I hope we can do a little project. I'll think of it. I like doing projects, to be honest. I like doing projects with instead of only teaching you that display of flex. I like working on a project with it. And the reason why I like working on projects is I want the reason is that I'll make mistake. I'll make mistake. Something that you know that you have known from day one. I can be typing and start making mistake. Maybe I want to write H1. I can start writing HL. Then you start making just so this this method is part of the challenge. So nobody is perfect. When you write code, when you see anybody doing YouTubers, when you see them doing writing code, there are two different some people do it. I've seen someone that told me that before he did the project on live YouTube, he has done it 5 times. He has practiced it 5 times. Imagine 5 times. And when you see him doing, and you have been watching a 1-hour video for 3 days and you keep having issues, you keep saying, my brain is so dull, I don't know how to do it. But the person that did the original project has spent like 5 days doing 5 times practicing it, maybe like 1 month practicing it. For you, what you have started doing a project of 3 hours for 3 days. You start thinking that your brain is dull. That's not it. You just have to believe in yourself. Even if you are writing an interview, if you don't know something, ask them you want to Google it, and that will, you will definitely be given the time. So just keep trying. Vivian, you can send a message to me on Slack. Let's see how we can resolve it together. And I hope I will have somewhere I can help. So thank you everyone for joining the class. This 4 minutes before the end of my class. I don't want to leave this class late. I want to leave very early so that other mentors can start their own class. So thank you all for joining. I really appreciate you being in this class. So if there's any other question within this last 4 minutes, let me ask it. So if you have any question, so let me know while we round up. We have 3 minutes left or 2 minutes left. So let me know if you have any question. Please don't give up. Don't give up. If you see someone doing it. So one thing I like doing projects that we both make mistake here. You can tell me I'll make mistake and so just like I was making mistake with background color, instead of me putting BG red, I was doing another thing. It can take someone a lot of time, and if you've been with me, it can take me just 30 seconds. Sorry, I don't think Mector Victoria has left the call, so I think she will do that in our next class. Maybe she will be the one to take you all the class next week. So let's see that. So thank you all for joining the class. Looking forward to seeing you in another class. So bye for now. Bye.